Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Anas bin Iskandar. My card number 2019223059 and 4. Okay, first I will present about introduction about Islamic banking. Okay, nowadays Islamic banking is relative unknown in the Western world, but Islam has around 1.57 billion believers worldwide and is the second largest religion in the world. The number of Muslim is constantly increasing over the year, not only for Muslim but also for all others people. This system provides a new and different way of banking. Okay, the second point is the origin of the system lays in the ban on interest for Muslim. The idea of Islamic banking is to provide an interest-free banking system, which is include common values and norm and religious aspect. And the third point is the awareness of ethical banking is increased, as well as the number of ethical fund and banks what confirm the willingness of people to use ethical ways of banking like the Islamic one. Today, Islamic banking in Malaysia is still growing rapidly, owing to its continuous product innovation, comprehensive banking, infrastructure, and adoption of regulatory and legal best practice. And the last point of introduction is Malaysia as on human capital development alongside the development of the Islamic financial industry to ensure the availability of Islamic finance talents. Okay, for example, BNM or Bank Nasional Malaysia established ISRA, what we call International Center. Okay, for example, BNM Bank Nasional Malaysia established ISRA. The mean is International Sharia Research Academy, and INCEIF, INCEIF, which is International Center for Education in Islamic Finance. That all for introduction in Islamic banking. Okay, next we move to first objective, which is the concept of Islamic banking. Okay, first point, Islamic banking is banking activity that is consistent with the principle of Sharia, or what we call Islamic law, and its practical application through the development of Islamic model economics. Okay, Islamic banking may alternatively be referred to as a Sharia complement finance because it is a finance which is in accordance with the Sharia principle, whether it's come from Islamic source or not. The function of Islamic bank and other financial intermediaries are similar to their conventional counterparts. Muslim economists have shown that there are alternative Islamic modes and models through which this function can be performed. Okay, the second point about concept of Islamic banking. The principle of Islamic banking, all the transaction or others are derived from the Quran and Sunnah. Okay, in Islamic transaction prohibits all such transaction in which some or all the following components are present. First, any return on money that is predetermined in amount or percentage therefore include modern day interest. What we call riba. Allah also berfirman in Al-Quran, which mean Allah menghalalkan jual beli dan mengharamkan riba. Okay, the second point is the second uncertainly gharar in contracts, which mean prohibits on the sale of items whose existence or characteristic are not certain and which uncertainly open contractual term, what we call gharar. The third point is gambling or maisir, applies to the dealings in future and option to the speculative level. It is gambling or maisir which is haram in Islam. Okay, the last is the activities relating to the trade of commodities prohibited or haram by Islam, like activities relating to provision of pork, alcohol, and gambling service. Okay, the last point of the concept of Islamic banking is two fundamental principles of Islamic banking are the sharing of profit and loss, and the provision of the collection and payment of interest by leaders and investors. Islamic banks make a profit through equity participation, which requires a borrower to give the bank a share in the profit rather than paying interest. Besides that, some conventional banks have windows or sections that provide designed Islamic banking service to their customer, like Maybank and Hong Leong Islamic Bank. So, Islamic banking is what we call Islamic banking. Okay, what we can conclude that is in the transaction of Islamic banking does not have interest like Bank Islam and Bank Islam. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fakra Amar bin Abdul Rahman. My matrix number is 2019, 219 and 226. I will continue the presentation, which is I will present about the history of Islamic financial institution in Malaysia. The first point is the Pilgrims Management and Fund Board. The early effort in developing the Islamic financial institution is began with establishment of Pilgrims Management and Fund Board, or we usually call it Tabung Haji. Tabung Haji was established in 1963 is to help people save the money for performing the Haji, which is Tabung Haji is the platform for the Muslims to make a saving or prepare the money to perform the Haji, which is pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. The idea was mooted out by the Royal Professor Unku Aziz, which is with his working paper entitled Plan to Improve the Economy Prospective Pilgrims. The objective of the establishment Tabung Haji is to enable the Muslims to save the money gradually to support their expenditure at the Mecca or during pilgrimage. A second objective is to enable Muslim to active participate in investment. That's investment is permissible in Islam, which is in accordance in Sharia. The second point is Islamic Development Bank. So, the first point, Tabung Haji. Tabung Haji is the starting way to the developing of the Islamic financial institution in Malaysia. However, the role of Tabung Haji is limited. This is because Tabung Haji is a non-bank financial institution. Therefore, the second point is the next progressing is in 1974. All the finance minister in all Islamic countries had a convention to establishment of the Islamic Development, which is IDB. IDB or Islamic Development Bank is considered to be the first international Islamic bank that there are 22 Islamic countries that involved in IDB. Islamic establishment of IDB was paved the way or opened the way for establishment of the Islamic bank in the various countries. For example, Dubai Islamic Bank, Faisal Islamic Bank in Sudan, Qatar Islamic Bank, and also Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, and etc. That's all point from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nabil Ashraf bin Muhammad Kamal. My number matric is 2019475624. Okay, now I want to tell you about the second phase of Islamic banking in Malaysia. We know that the first phase is about tabung haji in Malaysia, the establishment of tabung haji in Malaysia, and now we follow the second phase of Islamic banking in Malaysia. Okay, now we're going to the list of second phase in Islamic banking institution in Malaysia. Okay, first we show that first enacted of IBA, which is the Islamic Banking Act in 1983, and established the first Islamic bank, which is BIMB, Bank Islam, in 1983, and the government introduced dual banking system, which is Islamic banking scheme in 1993, and it's followed by another Islamic bank in Malaysia. Okay, now I will tell you about the establishment of enactment in IBA. Since the 1973, bank actually was not suitable for the operation of Islamic bank. Then a legal provision known as the Islamic Banking Act 1983 should be proposed to listen and monitor Islamic bank, and some amendment have to be made the existing law. Bank Negara Malaysia, the central bank, should administer the Islamic Bank Act in 1983, and the Islamic bank shall establish Sharia Supervisory Council advisor to determine that it carries out its business following Islamic law. After that, we're going to the establishment of Bank Islam. The first Islamic bank established in Malaysia is Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, is BIMB. It was incorporated as a company under the Companies Act 1969 on 1st March 1983, which was named as BIMB, in which is a registered office in Malaysia. Yang potong lah. BIMB was given 10 years to establish itself before the government established another system of Islamic banking, which is dual Islamic banking system. The BIMB motto is progressive, professional and friendly, has a mission to strive to run its operation as a commercial bank based on Sharia principle, to provide Islamic banking product and service to all societies in Malaysia by achieving thriving and competitive capabilities from time to time. After that, the introducing of dual banking system. Government was introduced the dual banking system in 1993 to allow conventional bank in Malaysia to provide Islamic banking product using the facility of their conventional banking system. The example of dual banking system is CIMB Islamic Bank, Hiong Leong Islamic Bank and Maybank Islamic Berhad. This is give a strength of the Islamic bank, which is another, which is the conventional bank can give way to the Islamic banking system, reveal at another conventional bank. After that, I want to tell you about the continuing of the another Islamic banking in Malaysia. We're going to the second Islamic bank in Malaysia, which is BMMB, which is the Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad. This bank is established on 1999. This bank is give to strengthen the Islamic banking sector to meet the increasing demand of the public on Islamic banking service. We know that the bond of BIMB, Bank Islamic Malaysian Berhad, give more demand to the Malaysian people to do more Islamic banking sector. And then on 5th May and also in 5th May 1993, Islamic banking system was introduced at Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia, which is a bank rakyat, as a cooperative bank without any element of riba. We know that Islamic banking system was do the another step to do the free riba element of riba in banking system. And then MBSB Bank Berhad also established as the fourth Islamic bank in Malaysia in November 2017. This bank also the second biggest bank in Malaysia until now. And then MBSB, also known as AFB, has been granted a license by BNM, Bank Negara Malaysia, to undertake Islamic banking business. What can we conclude after we know the history of Islamic finance in Malaysia? For now, there are 16 banks are offering Islamic banking scheme which comprise Islamic and conventional bank after the establishment of BIMB model. We know that such as example CIMB Islamic Bank, Maybank Islamic Bank, and others. The Islamic banking scheme is offered most bank in Malaysia, as there is a high demand from Muslim and non-Muslim. We must know that Islamic banking also used by non-Muslim in Malaysia. This success has given relief to Muslim in banking sector, and now Muslims are more confident to do banking transaction because it is under Sharia law.
Okay, on this slide, the question is, how does Islamic banking works? The goal is to procure cash without charging premium, which means is interest. And Islamic bank utilize a value support framework, which means the customer and the banker are support each other in the shape of benefit. Okay, Islamic banking system is based on a principle of partnership. With that being said, it is different with the conventional, which is focused on the interest. In the event that the business default on the advance or do not win any benefit, the bank does not get any benefit either. In this point, we can simple it with a win-win situation. Islamic banks make a profit through equity participant, which require a borrower to give the bank a share in their profit rather than paying interest. Okay, in this point, it has been clear that Islamic bank does not use any kind of interest element, because the profit that the bank get is from the share of the borrower. Okay, some people will ask that is Islamic banking really Islamic, because they said that the Islamic banking and the conventional banking are no different in terms of the benefit or the profit that they get from their customer. Okay, to answer this, yes, we must say that Islamic banking is really Islamic if it is being participated on the basis of rule and regulation defined by Islamic Sharia. Okay, so the difference between interest and the profit that Islamic bank take from their customer is Islamic bank take a profit from a share from their customer, not like a conventional bank which is an interest. They just charge the borrower or the contract that the customer use on the bank. Next, to reduce risk, the bank only approve about 40% of its company credit application, but there were no defaults. Okay, that's all for me. We will go to the next slide. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Iqbal bin Fauzi. My number metric is 2019-257-166. On this slide, I will present about Islamic banking system. According to BNM, Islamic banking refer to a system of banking that complies with Islamic law, also known as Sharia law. The underlying principle that govern Islamic banking are mutual risk and profit sharing between parties, the assurance of fairness for all, and that transaction are based on an underlying business activity or asset. In Islamic banking, the shareholder, the depositor, and the borrower all would participate on profit loss sharing basis, which means in Islamic banking, the customer and the banker are making a share between the customer and the banker. The reason is, if we look at the modes of the Islamic financial, we can say that every single product of Islamic banking are referred to a negotiation between two parties or more. And the major modes or product of Islamic banking finance
is murabahah, ijarah, ijarah wa iqtina, istisna, mudarabah, musyarakah, and baik salam. This is the major or the popular product that been used in Islamic finance. Okay, we go to the next slide.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Abdullah Fambi Rosli. My number metric is 2019294054. Okay, so today I will present to you about the differences between the conventional banking and Islamic banking, inshallah. There are four main subject or topic that significantly shows the differences about between the conventional bank and Islamic bank. Firstly, it is about a current account. Current account is a personal bank account which you can take money out of at any time you want using your checkbook or cash card. So, a current account in conventional bank, the bank can use this fund, the fund that you bank in at your account for investment and other purposes, regardless Sharia prohibition. So they don't care. They don't care about it is halal way or haram way, as long as it can give them advantage or benefit to them. But in Sharia, in Islamic banking, the bank can use this fund for investment also and other purposes. It allows certification of having the money safely deposit with a bank, with the additional assurance that the bank is not investing it in activities that contravene in Sharia principle. So Islamic bank will always use your money to invest your money in a halal way. Okay. Next, about the saving account. Saving account is a basic type of bank account that allows you to deposit money, keep it safe, and withdraw fund, all while earning interest. Saving accounts offered by most bank, credit unions, and other financial institutions. In conventional banks, no specific underlying mode is used in saving account, and it can use this fund, the money that you invest, that you put in your account for investment and other purposes also, regardless Sharia prohibition, whether it is haram or halal. But in Islamic bank, Islamic saving account is an investment for profit account governed under the rules of mudarabah with an objective to provide return on the investment. The third main topic is about leasing or ijarah. Lease can be defined as a right to use an equipment or capital goods on payment of periodical amount. This may broadly be equated to an installment credit being extended to the person using the asset by the owner of capital goods with small variation. Okay, so in conventional bank, by leasing, if you late payment, the penalty charge are taken from customer on late payment. They are taken as income by the bank. But in Islamic, if the customer fail to pay rental on due date, customer undertakes to pay charity, which is credited into charity account for further disbursement to charitable organization. Okay, so it shows that Islamic bank will avoid in taking the charge because the charge can be viewed as riba. Okay, so lastly is about lending money. Lending money is when people or organizations such as bank lend you money. They give it to you and you agree to pay it back at a future date, often with an extra amount as interest. Lending and countable nouns. So in conventional bank is viewed as in the business of lending and borrowing money based on interest. Relation of customer and bank is of creditor and debtor, and the compensation is always in interest. But in Islamic bank are not money lending institute, but they work as a trading investment house. Relationship of customer and bank is of seller, buyer, and partner. Compensation is always price thaman. Okay, so why Islamic bank take the way by view as a lending institute? It's not by a lending institute but as a trading or investment and a buyer seller. it is about to avoid riba in the money, because when it is lending concept, when you lend money to someone, and you want that someone to give you money that more than what you lend, it's called riba. But in Islamic bank, it is not called lending, but it's a trading or investment house. So the customer and the bank the relationship between them is a seller and buyer. It is mainly to avoid the riba and the haram. Yeah, inshallah. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Shukri bin Abdul Latif, number matric 2019219464. Okay. I would like to continue the presentation from my friend regarding what role does Islamic finance play in the country development. Okay, number 1. Distribution of dividends based on the profit of sale and purchase activity. Okay, this situation provides a fair and equal profit to the buyer and the seller. In fact, the average rate of sale and purchase revenue that refer to the muamalah system is based on the total profit earned. Okay, number 2. Submission and distribution of fund is accordance with Islamic Sharia supervised by the Sharia advisory body. Okay, this situation does not directly give a sense of shubha when transaction take place during management using the Islamic banking system. As we know, Sharia advisors are appointed based on education, and all purchasing transactions are done when accepted by the Sharia advisory body. Okay, we go to number 3. Number 3, carrying out halal buying and selling activities only. Okay, any activity that involves halal goods and is sanctioned by Sharia is permissible. The Sharia advisory body will ensure that all selling and purchasing activity are halal and contractual. The determination of the average rate for the sale and purchase proceed is made at the time of the contract based on the possibility of profit and loss. Okay, that number 4. Okay, when selling and buying activity are performed, an explanation of the contents of profit and loss made for the difference of the dispute is understood between the two parties involved. Okay, if both parties agree to bear the cost of profit and loss, the determination of the sale and purchase proceed is settled before the agreement is made. Okay, the situation is to ensure that all parties are satisfied with the sale and purchase. Okay, next, number 5. Islamic banking, there is no doubt. Since the sale and purchase is done by having witness and all process are explained to both parties involved, then the Islamic banking system has no doubt in terms of the source of profit from the sale or investment. Okay, number 6. Represented by strong Islamic banking situation and takaful operator. Okay. When it involves selling or buying, the group will ensure that all product or service offer Sharia compliant. Okay. In fact, the product and service provide are comparable to those found in the Malaysian market. Okay. In addition, according to Datuk Sri Dr. Mujahid Yusof, he said that the importance of Islamic finance had developed because the system used was based on the principle of justice, fairness and ethics that lead to the well-being of the people. He also said that Muslim ethics extend to all aspects of their life, include how they conduct the business. That's all for me. Thank you.
For the conclusion, as a Muslim, we should acknowledge the verity of Islamic law. Almost every single thing Islam has put a guideline such as in finance and banking. The history of Islamic finance and banking that we learn are the thing that can influence our understanding about the system of Islamic finance and banking. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.